You know that voice, right? That little whisper in the back of your head. The one that tells you you're not smart enough or talented enough, just not good enough. Well, today we're doing more than just talking about that voice. We're going to dive deep, figure out where it even comes from, and this is the important part, learn how to finally quiet it down and build up some real, solid self-worth.
Yeah, I'm not good enough. Does that one hit close to home? For so many of us, that single sentence can just echo in our minds. Sometimes it's a quiet little whisper, other times it's a full-on shout. And you know what? It's a feeling that connects millions of people. It's the absolute foundation of that inner critic we're going to unpack today.
All right, so let's really get into it. What is this voice? Let's break down that feeling of not being enough. Because honestly, figuring out where this inner critic gets all its power, that's the very first step to taking that power right back. So, at its very core, what we're talking about is low self-esteem. And really, all that is this hidden chronic belief that your worth isn't just a given. It's this feeling that you have to constantly earn it. It's like being on a treadmill, just running and running for that next achievement or for someone else's approval, just so you can feel worthy for a little while. It's absolutely exhausting because it means your own value is always up for debate. So, how does this actually show up in real life? Well, it might look like constantly doubting every single choice you make. Or maybe it's that intense fear of failure, the kind that just stops you in your tracks. It could also be that super harsh self-criticism over the tiniest little things, or this feeling of guilt that just hangs around. All of these, they're basically signals from your inner world telling you, hey, something in here needs a little attention. Okay, so a feeling this powerful doesn't just appear out of thin air, right? It's got roots, and if we really want to heal it, we have to understand where all that doubt first started. We gotta trace it back to its source, because that's where we'll find the keys to making real, lasting change. And for a lot of us, if we're being honest, those seeds were planted way back in childhood. If love and acceptance felt like they were tied to getting good grades or always being good, our little kid brains learned a pretty dangerous lesson. My performance equals my worth. And that creates this deep core belief that you have to be perfect just to be lovable. But, and this is probably the most hopeful part of this whole conversation, your brain is not set in stone. There's this incredible science called neuroplasticity, which basically says your brain is plastic. It's changeable. Think of it like a muscle. Old neural networks, those old ways of thinking, can literally be rewired. Imagine those negative thoughts are like old, muddy paths in a forest. Well, with a little work, you can start carving new, sunny paths. And the more you walk those new paths, the stronger they get. And the old ones just kind of grow over. And look, this isn't just some nice, hopeful idea. It is backed by solid science. Get this. A study out of Stanford showed that after just 8 weeks of doing something called loving kindness meditation, people saw their self-esteem boost by up to 30%. 30%. That's real, measurable proof that you can actually literally rewire your brain to be kinder to yourself. Okay, so if our brains are so changeable, why is it so ridiculously hard to shake this feeling? Well, it's because low self-esteem isn't just a belief. It's a trap. It's a self-reinforcing trap that creates this nasty, vicious cycle. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that's really, really good at proving itself right over and over again. Let's walk through exactly how this vicious cycle works. Step 1, it starts with that negative belief, right? I'm worthless. Then, because you believe that, you predict you're going to fail. I'll definitely mess this up. That prediction kicks up all this anxiety, which makes you perform poorly or maybe just avoid the thing altogether. And then what happens? You confirm the belief. See, I told you I'd fail. And that just makes that original belief even stronger. And round we go. And of course, in today's world, this cycle gets a huge boost from an amplifier we all know, social media. I mean, think about it. That endless scroll through everyone else's perfect life is just a breeding ground for comparison. In fact, research has shown that spending more than 2 hours a day on Instagram can tank your self-esteem by as much as 20%. It just feeds that vicious cycle by giving your brain a constant stream of what it thinks is evidence that you're not measuring up. Okay, so we've looked at what the inner critic is, where it comes from, and how it traps us. Now, let's get to the most important part. How do we actually break free? It's time to talk about rewriting your inner script, and we're going to use some practical, science-backed tools you can start using, like today. The great thing is, rewiring your brain doesn't take some huge, dramatic gesture. It just takes small, consistent actions. Here are 3 daily exercises to try. First, the affirmation journal. Every single night, just write down 3 things you genuinely like about yourself. That's it. Second, the inner voice dialogue. When that critical voice pops up, just pause and ask yourself, how would I talk to a good friend right now? It's a simple question that immediately shifts you into a more compassionate mindset. And third, gentle boundary setting. Start small. Just say no to one little thing without feeling guilty. It's a powerful way to teach your brain that your worth doesn't depend on pleasing everybody. Now, if you're someone who loves having a bit of structure, check this out. A 30-day inner voice rebuild challenge. It's basically a roadmap to build momentum. The first few days are all about awareness. Then you move into practicing that kind dialogue we just talked about. Then you start taking action with boundaries. After that, it's about gratitude for the progress you've made, and finally, you review and solidify everything. It's designed to take you from just understanding this stuff to actually living it.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract, theoretical exercise. This journey to self-worth is real. And believe me, transformation is absolutely possible. Let's take a look at what this can actually look like in a real person's life.
So let's talk about Mary. For years, she was a total people pleaser. She really believed that was the only way people would love her. But as she started to learn how to respect herself, how to say no, something incredible happened. It didn't push people away. In fact, her relationships became more real, more authentic. Her story is just such a powerful reminder that true kindness to others and yourself, it comes from a place of inner satisfaction, not from a fear of being rejected.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all this. I want you to really hear this. You do not need to be perfect to be worthy. Your worth is not conditional. It never has been. You don't need to get one more promotion or one more person's approval to deserve respect, love, and peace. You deserve all of it right now, exactly as you are.
You know, the famous psychologist Carl Rogers put it so perfectly. He said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." Think about that. Real, lasting change doesn't come from beating yourself up. It starts with acceptance. It's only when you can look at yourself, flaws and all, and say, okay, that you create the space for real growth to actually happen.
So, I'm going to leave you with one final thought to take with you. After all of this, what is one kind thought, just one, that you can offer yourself today? It doesn't have to be big, just one small moment of grace, because you never know, that single thought might just be the first step on a whole new path.